Welcome back. As you know, I am Eli, the computer guy, here for your daily dose of the roars as we scream about the very stupid stuff going on in the world of technology. Do remember I do these videos in order to support Silicon Dojo, free hands-on technology education in Durham, North Carolina, hopefully coming back to Asheville, North Carolina soon. If you can attend an in-person class, take a look at our schedule at silicondojo.com. If you want to help support free to the end-user education, there is a donor box link down below. And with that, let's get into the roaring today and talk about return to office policies, company culture, and how things can go very, very, very wrong when executives, basically declare something and then the employees go, maybe. I do think that this is an interesting thing when you look at actual workplace dynamics, right? Especially in the modern American world, there's this idea of the 1% and the 99%. The 1% trample on everybody else, right? The people that are in a position of authority, they tell everybody else what to do, and we quake in fear. And it's like, wow, that's great. That's great for the movies. That looks really, really good in the movies. In the real world, have you ever actually had employees? Have you actually ever dealt with employees? There are people that have never had employees and people that have had employees. And what you find out is having employees is its own little type of misery, right? Half the time you're begging them to do the fucking job you're actually paying them to do. And they're like, maybe I will acquiesce to do what I'm getting paid to do, right? It's this very weird world when you're a boss. I've talked about this before. Malicious compliance. I mean, that really just sums everything up. Basically, when your employees start doing exactly what you tell them to do. Why did you do that? You told me to. It's like, yes, but you're supposed to use a little bit of common sense when you did that thing. Anyways, I think this is interesting too, especially with the whole, return to office and work from home and all that kind of thing. As I've talked about before with this whole idea of culture, right? Culture is a fundamental component of your business or organization. Basically, the idea is that most people in your organization should have some fundamental agreements. It doesn't really matter what those agreements are, as long as they fit the business profile for whatever it is that you're doing, right? So if you're running a factory, if you're running a mine, something like that, where shifts really matter, right? There's a shift whistle, people switch on the shift, that type of thing, right? Punctuality is close to godliness in a factory, because you need people working the line. Not only do you need people working the line, but you need to switch people that are working the line at a allocated time, right? At 8 o'clock, we shut down the line for like 5 minutes. We get the people off the line. We bring the new people on the line, and then we start the line back up again, right? Punctuality really matters, right? If you are 20 minutes late, that is a major issue. If you're 6 minutes late, that could actually be just as much of an issue as if you're 20 or 30 minutes late, right? You gotta be there. You gotta be there on time. If everybody has the basic idea that they should be there on time, it'll probably go relatively decently, right? If you're in the technology world, right? You may not care about time. Punctuality doesn't matter, but you know when a project has to be completed, right? Our deadline is X. You may do the work at midnight. You may do the work during the middle of the day. You may do 2 hours here, 2 hours here, 2 hours here, 2 hours somewhere else. As long as the work gets done when it needs to be gets done, that's the important thing. And as long as everybody is basically, on the same page, things will keep going. The idea is that your employees should make the decisions that you would want them to make, even though you're not there, right? Basically, there's a whole bunch of decisions employees have to make, right? And they're sitting there and they're thinking about it and they're like, okay, this is how we do this. This is how we do this. This is how we do this, right? They have the intent. The intent is the same as your intent. The culture is more or less the same as your culture, and everything goes along relatively smoothly. The problem that we've had in the technology world over the past 10 or 15 years is 1% interest rates. You are losing your jobs, my friends, not because of AI, but because interest rates have basically gone up massively, right? And so in an era of 1% 1% interest rates, high net worth individuals were running after any investment that would be able to bring them a good return, right? I borrow money at 1%, I put it into a tech company that gets me a 20% return or whatever else. I make 19% per year for doing nothing, using somebody else's money. It's not that I'm using my $1 million to make 19% per year. I'm using their $1 million to make 19% per year. Anyways, and so these companies, right? A lot of these companies, they didn't have profit. They didn't have revenue. They didn't have any real metrics, right? So what is the fake metric they could come up with? Hiring people, right? Look, obviously we're successful. Look at how many people we hired in the last quarter. Again, in the real world of business, that doesn't mean shit. That literally doesn't mean shit. What the fuck does your profit loss statement looks like? That's what matters. But again, in this new world of investment, oh, hey, look, they're hiring so many people. Obviously, they're successful. And so as I've talked about many times before, the issue that we've had over the past decade is that people have been hired to basically be an ass in a seat. They have not been hired, for their technical chops. They have not been hired whether or not they know Rust or PHP or whatever else. They have not been hired to actually bring an ROI. They have literally been hired to be a fucking ass in a seat. And what happens to your company and organizational culture when you have God knows how many people in your company that are literally asses in seats? And then the worst part is what happens when those motherfuckers start getting promoted? Right, so it's bad enough, right? You got a help desk ass in a seat, you got a junior developer ass in a seat. That's its own stupidity. But here's the thing, businesses move. Again, we've had this 1% interest rate for 10 years, 15 years, whatever it's been, right? And so, you stay at the company long enough, you're going to expect a promotion. And then you get promoted, and then an ass in a seat gets promoted, and then the ass in a seat gets promoted again, and ass in a seat gets promoted again. What happens when you start having senior level managers in your organization who have worked for your company for fucking years? And basically, what they have brought to the company is being an ass in a seat. And now that's its own disaster. But think about this. They have subordinates. They have people that come to them looking for mentorship. Oh, dear senior manager ass in seat. How can I be like you one day? Oh, golly, what kind of disaster are you going to have there? And I think that's a curious thing, again, with this whole return to office policy, is basically you have a return to office policy in the midst of literally eviscerated company cultures for a lot of these tech organizations, and it's causing, real issues. So this is coming from Dell, because apparently people decide to come into the office and then leave, Like, hey, you're telling us to come into the office 5 days a week. I did. And then I went home, right? Causing a bit of problems. Dell exec doubles down on 40-hour return to office for sales team after end-of-day walkthroughs revealed workers leaving early. Right? Because that's the thing, right? They're like, look, I don't even want to be here. I don't even think we should be here. So they're commuting into the office. They're doing their work. They're like, you know what? Fuck it. I'm done. And they're going home, right? Again, if you had the culture, if you had a company culture of people coming into the office for 8 hours a day, you're there for 8 hours a day, and it's up to you to find new work to do. You got your work done in 4 hours? Great. Find something else to do for another 4 hours. That's a culture thing, right? Again, think about this for company culture. You finish work in 4 hours. In certain company cultures, hey, you did a good job. You got the work that needs to be done today. Go home, right? You did what we needed you to do. Other company cultures, if they're expecting you to be there at 8 hours, you finished 4 hours worth of work. Now it's your responsibility to find 4 more hours of work. And this is important for something like sales, right? Sales is a never-ending job, right? The whole idea is for every 100 no's, you get 1 yes. So that's the thing. If you work for 4 hours and you get, let's say, 4 yeses in 4 hours, it's not that you stop then. It's that you keep going and you try to get more yeses during the day. Or you go back and you call clients that you haven't talked to in a while. Or you do all of these other things. Or if you're at Dell, you just go home. A top sales executive at Dell has called employees back into the office 5 days a week again. We told you to come into the office 5 days a week. Let's do it again. Quote, effective immediately, all on-site classified sales team members are expected to be in the Nevada, or I guess Reno, Nevada, and OKC offices 5 days a week for at least 8 hours per day. You gotta spell it out. And again, it's interesting here with these return to office policies, at least 8 hours a day. Jackie Miller, Dell's vice president of North American commercial sales, said in an email sent to enterprise sales staff on November 5th, with which Business Insider has seen. Miller's email came over a year after Dell first told its global sales team to be, quote, on-site 5 days a week in September 2024. A similar order followed for the rest of the company in January 2025 and took effect in March. After recent site visits and end-of-day walkthroughs, leaders noted that the team was not adhering to the policy, Miller informed staff in the email. And that's one of the things you have to realize too. When you have employees, you got policies. What are you actually going to do with the policies? This is one of the things I saw in the enterprise world that really sucked back when I worked in the corporate environment. We would have IT policies. Here's the thing. Salespeople didn't give a shit about the IT policies. Man, salespeople, they would crash their laptops so many times. And they were remote salespeople, right? They would crash your laptop so many times because of Napster. And this was back when Napster was actually still illegal, right? And I would go to the manager and like, look, I am working overtime right now. And a big reason why I'm working overtime right now is because your salespeople are violating our rules. I need you to be a fucking manager once in your goddamn life and get them to stop putting Napster and crap on their systems. And then the manager would look at me and go, you know how much that person sold last month? I'm like, no. And then they tell me some number that didn't really matter to me. And then they tell me to go fuck myself. Because here's the interesting thing. Again, this is one thing. Like, companies have policies. And companies have discipline systems. It doesn't mean because you break the policy, you're necessarily going to get dumped into the disciplinary action. Because one of the issues that you run into is what if you have basically blowback? I was talking to one of the managers, again, back when I was in the corporate world, and that was a curious thing he talked about, is it was one of the offices, I think it was up in, it was up in the New York City area, New Jersey. Anyways, but basically, all of the installation staff that we had apparently were Hispanics from a particular area. And the curious thing that he was talking about is he had to be very delicate when he disciplined any of those particular employees. Because basically, if any of the employees essentially felt that another one of the employees was being insulted, the entire fucking team would walk out the door. He had worked at another company. He had learned this by lived experience. He had been a little bit too hard on one particular employee, and the next day he walked in, and he didn't lose one employee. He lost 20 because they were all like, fuck this, we can find a job somewhere that actually respects our work, and they all walked the hell out the door. So it is kind of interesting too. Again, we talk about things like disciplinary policies and all that kind of stuff. What can you actually put into effect? Quote, I want to reinforce our expectations, and it is only expectations regarding on-site office presence. She said, maintaining a strong in-office presence is essential for fostering collaboration, communication, and productivity. It is company policy. Employees should use personal business allowance or vacation hours for time spent away from the office. Quote, some leaders are reiterating their expectations of working a full day in the office, as Dell spokesperson told Business Insider, and as we have said, our team members are expected to work a regular working day in the office, but have flexibility as needed. Also, team members in global roles may need to take late evening calls and can adjust their in-office hours accordingly. This is also interesting. Again, something to be thinking about the modern business culture. It's like, oh, wait a minute. You want us to be working 9 to 5 unless the company wants us to do something else, and then you want us to shift our lives around the company. If you go back 20 years, that was just the expectation. Again, it's 2025. Cultures have shifted. Let's see here. Dell's RTO policy has not changed since it was first implemented, but there's been a disconnect between leaders and employees over whether coming to the office 5 days a week also requires spending eight hours there. In June, 10 Dell employees across the U.S. told Business Insider that the enforcement of the RTO policy depended on their manager. Some managers understood, quote, a regular working day to mean 8 hours a day, while others allowed their teams to badge in and leave soon after without repercussions. And that's going to be one of the other issues with your culture. Again, your managers. Your managers are the backbone of your organization. What happens when different managers are literally creating different rule systems based off of how they feel? What is that going to do to the culture of your organization? Quote, expectations for our team members have not changed, Dell told a Business Insider. Employees were expected to work a regular working day in the office, but have flexibility as needed for things like late evening calls on global teams. The policy does not state that 8 hours is the requirement. But then that's the other interesting thing here. But then they say, like, this is actually coming from them, where they're saying 8 hours might not be the requirement. Two sales team employees have said managers had not enforced the rule since the policy was first announced in September. Quote, a lot of parents previously were told they can leave at around 2 p.m. to pick up school-age kids and can finish the day at home, said one of the sales employees. Since November, sales leaders have clarified that there are no exemptions for children's school schedules, the two sales employees told Business Insider. This is also going to be one of the interesting things to think about with these organizations and return to office and all that. What happens when your policies force your employees to basically break your policies, right? So they were told by their managers, right or wrong, they could go pick up their kids. It's their fucking kids. It's their kid. They've got to go pick up their kids. So they had a work from home policy. They changed it to a return to office policy. The manager said, but you can go and you can pick up your kids. And now the corporation is coming in and saying you can't go and pick up your kids. Now here's the thing. If you're a parent, you're going to go pick up your kids. And so what is this organization now doing? This organization, top-down authority, is now reinforcing the idea that you need to violate corporate policy. That the corporation has basically put you into a position you need to violate policy. And again, the whole thing, if you deal with kids or teenagers, once you put them into a position that they start thinking it's okay to violate one policy, well, then every other policy comes into question too. So that's basically what is currently going on with Dell right now. And it should end up being an absolute crap show. An absolute crap show. The thing that I find about this the most curious is this idea of how are these tech organizations going to deal with company culture over the next 5 years, right? They have destroyed their company culture, right? 10 to 15 years of running after whatever investment they can get, doing whatever the hell they have to do to get that investment, has destroyed the culture in so many of these organizations, and it will be curious to see how they're able to reconstitute that culture again. It's not about work from home or return to office. It's not about 8 hours a day or 15 hours a day or 2 hours a day. It's about your company. Everybody in the company has a basic idea of what the expectation should be, and so they just naturally try to abide by those expectations. Basically, these corporations, right, have just destroyed the cultures of their organizations, and so a big question is how do you put Humpty Dumpty back together again, especially in the current economic times, with macro environments the macro events going on and that type of thing. It'll be curious to see how this works out. So what do you think about this? What do you think about, Dell's RTO policy perhaps not going to plan? What do you think about the return to office policy, where it's not simply like the line employees that are having issues with it, that literally the managers themselves are causing issues with the policies? I don't know. Put your thoughts down below. Do remember, I do these videos in order to support SiliconDojo.com, authorityless, gatekeeperless, free to the end user, hands-on technology education that empowers you to do whatever the hell it is you want to do in Durham, North Carolina. If you're interested, take a look at our schedule of classes at SiliconDojo.com. If you want to support free to the end user education, there's a donor box link down below. And with that, see y'all later.